If you implement this sequence of numbers, you will get ahead of 97% of people. Here's an example. This sequence of numbers took my body from this to this. You might think I'm joking. I'm not. These numbers have been my superpower when it comes to going to the gym and eating well. And without these numbers, I definitely would not have achieved the results I have. And best of all, these numbers have made it easy. So whether you're on a fitness journey or you have some other goal in mind, these numbers are going to be powerful in achieving that. I like to believe that everyone wants to improve their lives, but very few people actually do it. Let's say 30% of people are actively trying to learn about their problems and their goals. This is education. Let's say 50% of them take the information and put it into action. This is execution. And let's say 20% of them continue to work hard every single day. This is consistency. That leaves 3% of people. If you're doing these three things, education, execution, and consistency, you are literally getting ahead of 97% of people. But do you see the problem? It sounds like a lot of work. The mountain is too high to climb. So what do? We don't climb the mountain. And this was true even for me. When I was at university, I had this itching desire to start working on my own business. And eventually I did start a side hustle, the Impactful Ideas blog, which eventually turned into this YouTube channel. And while this is of course a work in progress, what I didn't have then that I do now is self-belief. I distinctly remember walking to the university gym one day, listening to the Roommates podcast, and the guest was Jose Zuniga. I hope I said that right. And in this interview, Jose was laying down how much he works, how much he grinds, and how much responsibility he has. It was too much. I distinctly remember thinking, fuck, I can't do this. I'm not capable of that. And there lies the problem. The mountain was just too high to climb. We often look at people who have done incredible things, listen to how hard they work, and then doubt ourselves. And why wouldn't you? If you have no mountaineering experience, how can you possibly think you can climb Mount Everest? But there's two things wrong with this. One, no one climbs Mount Everest from sea level. Well, there was one guy that did, but we're not talking about him. And two, there are other mountains. You are overestimating the amount of work required to get started. And it doesn't help that our culture glorifies hard work as the supreme god. Watch my last video, or 2 videos ago, to rectify that one. But the point is, I genuinely believe that getting started and staying consistent becomes much, much easier once you set the right expectations. And to do that, you need to be aiming at the right mountain. What's the 63rd highest mountain in the world? Exactly. No one knows. No one cares, bro. But you all know Mount Everest. It's the pinnacle. It's what you see. It's what you hear about. And it comes with a lot of status once you achieve it. Sure, if your goal is to actually climb Mount Everest, then you need to be training appropriately for it. You need to be preparing and getting the relevant experience to do that. But let's be honest here. Do you actually want to climb Mount Everest? I know it's sexy and everything, but is that actually what you want to do? Let's go back to my example with Jose. In my mind, Jose running multiple $1 million businesses was Everest. I was doubting myself. There's no way I can do that, so why even bother? I'm sure you're familiar with those type of thoughts too. They are pretty common. But even if I started back then, do you really think I'll still be trying after 2 years? Not hitting 1,000 subscribers? Not earning any money? Fuck no. If Everest was my goal, then I would have packed this up long ago. What snapped me out of this weak-ass mentality was when I started to question, what mountain am I actually looking at here? Is it Everest? No. Is it doing work that excites me, that helps others, that suits my capabilities, that I can be paid for? Yes. That's the criteria for Ikigai, by the way, a Japanese philosophy for finding purpose in your work. I actually use this framework when deciding on what to do after university. Ikigai is the reason why I started Impactful Ideas. But the point is, I wasn't aiming at huge successes. I was, and still am, curious about where I can take this thing. And that's where the sequence of numbers come in. So let's go back to the example for my physique, because that's actually something I have the results for. I have never been particularly active on social media throughout my life, which has been a blessing when it comes to my fitness journey. Because when I started going to the gym, I wasn't looking at fitness influencers all day long. I wasn't looking at the top 0.01% of all physiques worldwide and comparing my climb to Everest. At that time, all I wanted was to get stronger and improve my body just a little bit each week. I knew right from the start that if I followed this sequence of numbers, then I would improve. My body transformation was achieved by 90 minutes a day, 4 times a week, 45 weeks per year for 6 years. I know there was some build up to these numbers, so this might seem a little bit underwhelming. I'm sorry, but that's life. The truest things in the world are often the most boring. But I really want you to think about this. You can achieve the body of your dreams just by lifting some weights for a little over an hour, a few times a week, most weeks in the year, year after year. Increase the weight slightly every other week, track your macros every other day, and try to eat within 80% of your target most days. That's it, man. That's all it takes. I'm not saying that I had the best physique in the world. I clearly don't. But I'm not trying to participate in shows or flex for people on the internet. Again, if you're aiming at Everest, then you need to train and prepare for Everest. But if you just want to be stronger, healthy, and look good naked, this is all you need, man. And I also put in a fair amount of effort into my sets because I truly want to get stronger. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's been a grind. It hasn't. The gym is glorified in today's culture. Every guy that can do a lat spread and every girl that can do a cheek spread are posting inspirational content on social media about them grinding and working harder. And I mean, I get it, guys. You're proud. I'm happy for you. Everyone talks about discipline and consistency. But I also know that when people hear discipline and consistency, they think of absolute discipline and consistency. Absolutes don't exist. My body transformation was not achieved by absolute consistency. It was achieved by imperfect consistency over time. I want you guys to know that it's not as hard as what everyone makes it out to be. It's important to understand this because I say this in nearly every video. What you believe to be true becomes true. If you believe it's going to be hard, then it's going to be hard. So I would like to share 2 tweets from someone who has heavily inspired me over the last couple of months. And here they are. 1 hour of focused work on the weekdays, 4+ hours of focused work on the weekends. If that's all the time you have, that's all the time you have. Most entrepreneurs didn't magically have 0 responsibilities and start working 12 hours a day. They started with a few hours. If you believe you need more than 1 hour a day to see success, then 99% of people will never see it in their lives. You don't need more time, you need more focus. If you do the right things most days over a long enough time period, you will succeed. Of course, provided that you're actually putting your work into things that are conducive to results. The sun has set, so I'll leave you with this. With just a little work each day, most days, year after year, the mountain is climbable. You can do this. You got this. The 3% is waiting for you.